And now we look at questions of Islamic jurisprudence and the bigger question, the application of ijtihad. Can it be done? Well, Sheikh Slimi, tell us about this big question first. Before we look at any of the nitty-gritty issues in Islam, there is this bigger and overriding question. Can ijtihad be done even in this day?
Of course, ijtihad is a matter of life and continuity, because life changes, context change, means change, the principles never change.
So ijtihad then would be the use of reason in applying the principles to present situations?
Indeed. Ijtihad is independent judgment, meaning we have a legislation that was revealed 1400 years ago. Legislation which is perfect from God Almighty. We believe in the revelation. God knows better than human beings. But God Almighty sets for us parables and precedents. And these precedents are meant to be imitated, but not exactly 100%, because the context does change. So God Almighty would speak about the people of Prophet Shu'aib, or Prophet Moses, or any prophet, and would tell us, in this there is a lesson for you. Or the Prophet Joseph, in this there is a lesson for those who reflect. Why? Reflect, so when you have a similar incident, not exactly the same issue, but it could be a parallel to this one, then see how we have made this law for it. So this is called qiyas, analogy. And there are different ways, not only analogy, ijtihad, which is independent judgment, use also principles that guide us. We call them kulliyat, general rules. So in times of necessity, again we go back to common sense. Common sense, you save your life, because your life is more important now than anything else. You're not going to say, oh, I have to go pray. No, go eat first and then pray. Islam says, save your body first before you go and pray, because it makes not only a sense, but it makes life and prayer comfortable and practical. So ijtihad is meant to keep the laws alive and the principles, and to make a sense of our life. Otherwise, if we don't make ijtihad, we do not expect people to live in the 21st century.
Okay, but let's look at some issues that came up recently. One is the fact that now, with Ramadan receding into the summer, the days of fasting are much longer than they used to be in the winter months. Now, is there some scope for applying ijtihad and saying that there is a possibility here of having a reduced fast?
Well, there is a general law that guides also ijtihad, and it's even beyond ijtihad. It's there. It's the law of variation and ability. And ability is a condition. If I'm not able to fast, physically I cannot, then I don't need to fast. So we leave it to its context. It's very variable issue. It varies from south and east. If it's longer here, it's going to be shorter in Australia, and vice versa. So we have to be very careful not to give blank answers and blank statements. So because it varies where we are, and we have to be able to adapt ourselves. If a person cannot fast, we do not expect that person to fast. In the midst of the verses where God legislated fasting and prescribed fasting, He reminded us at the same time of the exception. He said, and those who cannot, for a reason such as sickness, physical inability, or they're traveling, or they have a medical or chronic disease or medical problem, then let them fast other days. Make qada, make it up. So we have to be, these are exceptions. So if, let's say, in a scenario where people cannot fast, that's it. They break the fast, but they have to intend to fast. And rather than saying, oh, you know what, we're gonna change the day and this. No, it's from dawn to sunset. End of story. People can make it, and God will help them. We're not the only generation that did it. Every 30 years, there is a loop here. We go back to the same, 33 years.
So this wouldn't involve a case of the application of ijtihad. This is just a matter of knowing the rukhsa, or the permission that is already there inherent in the Islamic rulings regarding fasting.
I have to make it clear. Ijtihad does not deal with the ibadat, the acts of worship. That's why I said there are rules that already guide that. Ijtihad deals with transactions, with different things in life. The ibadat, there is no ijtihad in ibadat. However, there is ijtihad in the tools which lead to establish the ibadat, such as today we use calculation to see where the moon is going to be seen. It's a means, not the ibadah. So there is no ijtihad in things that are clear. God said fasting from dawn to sunset is going to stay like that. We'll deal with exceptions, not ijtihad. Ijtihad is for the tools and the means, for things that are not the ibadah. The acts of worship already explained. But if there are means, ijtihad today, can we travel? Can we make the tawaf, instead of doing it around the Kaaba, go upstairs? Because no, in the time of the Prophet it was only 100,000 people. Today you have 5 million. How can you accommodate? It's 50 times the number. So they said it's okay. That's ijtihad to go up. But it's the means. As for the tawaf, is the same tawaf. The worship is the same worship.
Okay, so let's leave it at that for that segment, and when we come back, we're going to look at some of the most common questions people ask about Islam. We mentioned certain issues that might require some more clarification, and we'll deal with questions that we receive from our viewers.